Now, is it just
We are now. Thanks for the heads up on that.
all right? Didn't know if it was automatic or not. Well, welcome everybody to our Community Weavers session. So I'm Jerry Koch-Gonzalez with Sociocracy for All. I'm part of the Intentional Community Circle, Sociocracy for All, and in doing that, and I've been living in co-housing, Pioneer Valley co-housing, now known as Cherry Hill, for 28 years. So I've been going to various co-housing US conferences over the many years and been bringing sociocracy there. And it's just been me going to a workshop here and there conference. And then recently it's like, okay, how can we all do this more connected? And there was changes in who was involved, or people got kind of more connected. So Trish is new in co-housing US and kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And how can we be connected more? And Neil, who I finally only vaguely knew for years, is like, okay, let's do this. Let's get more. And so Keala was also part of the Intentional Community Circle in SOFA, and he's the connection to Jen, Global Eco Village Network. Didn't really know much about Canadian Co-Housing Network, but we looked them up and tried to get a little contact there. And so what from the sort of the selfish point of view of Sociocracy for All, we wanted to be able to reach out into all these organizations that were doing good work with communities, and so that how can we advertise, how can we plug what we do, and how can we all more effectively support communities? And that's kind of what led to the bringing this group together. We've had a couple of meetings and we intend to meet monthly, and we've come up with kind of a statement of kind of what we're about, and I'm going to give it to Renee to tell us that.
Okay, so I'm with the Canadian Co-Housing Network, and I've lived in community for more than 20 years now at Cranberry Commons Co-Housing. And I was delighted to be invited by Jerry, and I think Neil was part of that too, to be part of this collaborative. And so in the process of that, we're trying to give it some shape and see what it is. And we have a very draft statement of intention that I'm going to share my screen right now and show you. So basically, who are we? The following quote, and I want to give tribute to Lotus from the US Co-Housing Association for having worked on this. She definitely had a big part in putting this together. So this following quote really resonated for us. We envision a world of interdependent, cooperative communities stewarding the conditions of regeneration, justice, peace, and abundance in order to realize the full potential of flourishing for all life, for all generations to come. And that was developed by a group, the Regen Alliance, that we just took as a quote because it resonated with us. So we're an emerging group organization, and we're committed to community living in support of greater sustainability and resilience. So I will post this. I don't feel that I need to read through the whole thing. I'll make sure that it gets posted to the for the program here, but just quickly, this is the organizations that are involved in this, and right now we're, like I say, just in the very early stages of trying to figure out what this is and what we can do together. And so we're intending to post this on each other's websites so that people can see that we are a group that are collaborating together, and I'm excited about that possibility. So back to you, Jerry.
Okay. I was trying to remember, I was trying to read that one of those lines in that statement, our intent to collaborate, which you've done some of over the years and not done some of that over the years as these different organizations. And so we're kind of seeing this new day of how can we really maximize, this work, which is so important and is so timely. So the plan for this session right now is that we're going to kind of take 5-minute or so turns to each organization is going to kind of maybe show some slides, talk a little bit about their work. And after all of us have taken those turns, then we will either stay in the whole group and take some questions and comments, or we might do both. We also will maybe break out into groups so that those who want to talk to Trish can talk to Trish, those who want to talk to Neil can talk to Neil, those who want to talk to Keala about Global Ecolives Network can talk to Keala, those who want to talk to Renee about Canadian Co-housing Network can go there, more in depth, So that's our intention. And the order here is we'll start with Trish and Co-housing US, and then we'll be going to Renee and Canadian Co-housing Network. So when you are ready, Trish, you're on.
Sure thing. I'm going to share screen here for a moment. This is always a little difficult. Okay, sorry. Okay, thanks for your patience. Nope. Usually do this on multiple screens. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Trish. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the executive director of Coho US, the Co-housing Association of the US. A little bit about my background. I'm a founding member of ARIA Co-housing on the northwest side of Denver, Colorado, and lived there for several years before leaving, and am now in the forming process of a community called Chase Street Commons, also on the northwest side of Denver. Coho US, which is our short term for the Co-housing Association of the US, is a national nonprofit dedicated to supporting both forming and existing co-housing communities. We seek to build a better world, one neighborhood at a time. And our mission is to foster a more cooperative society by supporting co-housing communities and educating the public about the benefits of co-housing. And of course, our vision is around culture shifting and developing a new, or helping to define a new American dream where every home is surrounded by caring, collaborative neighbors who use less of the earth's resources while living an abundant life. We do so primarily within these three buckets: education, advocacy, and networking. So perhaps best known for the National Co-housing Conference, which we host every 2 years. In different locations around the country. We just hosted our last one in Madison this summer. We also host quite a bit of virtual events and trainings, and really aim to empower and support you all to build communities and to thrive in them. We also engage in advocacy by promoting co-housing as a model and advocating where we can for a more co-housing friendly world. And then we really see ourselves as a convener. So we try our best to create a container for networking and connections to happen. So we seek to connect the dreamers, the longtime communitarians, and the professionals who bring co-housing dreams to life. So that's a little bit about us. In 2023, we are really excited about a new initiative. So we've done a lot of thinking around how we do education, advocacy, and networking, and how we can do it better, how we can make it easy for our stakeholders to connect with one another and to gain the skills that they seek. So we're really excited to announce the launch of the Co-housing Institute. So our programming will remain largely the same, in that we will continue to engage people in a virtual way, but we're trying to make it more accessible and more engaging as well. So the Co-housing Institute will host workshops and events, but also has a lot of capabilities for connection with one another, sharing resources, really kind of trying to create a network for those of you who are dreaming about a better world together. So we're piloting this with a virtual co-housing conference. It's a virtual version of our national conference in Madison. So we are including a lot of recorded content from Madison for those of you who missed it or attended and couldn't attend every session because you're only one human. We've recorded quite a bit of that. And then we're adding in some new content as well. So that will be our first program launched on the Institute. So If we have a breakout, I'm happy to talk more about this, but we're also welcoming beta testers. So by that, I mean, you can visit that website, and we know it's not perfect. It's in its first stage. So please continue to send us feedback about what's working, what's not working, what could be better. But you are able to visit that website and register. And then another way to connect with us is the virtual co-housing conference. As I mentioned, we're hosting a sort of a launch party, an opening day on December 12th at 12 Central. We'll have it's an hour-long Zoom. We'll have a brief keynote, and we're having a series of interviews with different voices in the co-housing movement about the state of the movement. And then there will be lots of time to connect with our presenters from the conference, leaders from within the co-housing world, to ask them questions and connect with one another. And I'll post a link in the chat about how to register for that. So the other important piece, this sort of parallel process that's happening as we're planning sort of what we offer and how we offer it, is this larger question. So we at Coho US truly believe that co-housing is one model that can support a more cooperative society. And at the same time, we're working to define sort of our role in this larger communities movement, which is really relevant to this community weavers group. So we're looking at how do we invite creativity and innovation in support of more sustainable, affordable, and diverse communities. So we really want you to join us in that dialogue. So if we do breakouts, this will kind of be the frame of our discussion, and I'll also create space for all the needs that you have, questions that you have, topics that are top of mind for you. But would love to invite you all to join us in that discussion. And I'll also share more about the Institute and how to engage with Coho US. And I'll do that in a large group too, if we do so. So that's the conclusion of my formal program. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you, Trish. Take your breath so you don't overload your brain. And we'll go to Renee, right, with co-housing, Canadian Co-housing Network, and then to Neil with Foundations for Intentional Communities.
Okay, so I will also share my screen here. So this Canadian Co-housing Network is mainly, it was formed in 1992 in British Columbia, and it's a registered nonprofit that promotes the creation of co-housing communities as a model for sustainable development by raising public awareness about co-housing and by bringing people together to form communities. So we're very similar in our purpose to the Coho US. This happens to be a picture of the Little Mountain Co-housing Group in Vancouver. The most valuable function that we have, or that we believe we have, is of making connections with people who are interested in living in co-housing. And so that's mainly achieved through the website, cohousing.ca. So we have members listings on that, news, we advertise news and events. We've got information about what co-housing is. It ends up being basically the main resource that we provide as a network. The purpose of the CCN, and by the way, this is Windsong Co-housing in Langley, is to promote and facilitate the development of co-housing communities across Canada, to foster public government and building professions awareness about the nature and benefit of co-housing, provide educational services for creating co-housing communities, enable networking opportunities for those interested in co-housing, and maintain a co-housing resource directory. The society operates without object of gain for its members or directors. So it's a nonprofit. So membership in the Canadian Co-housing Network is for co-housing groups and co-housing professionals. And before people become a member, we have them complete a form that confirms that they meet the criteria of participatory process, neighborhood design, private homes supplemented by common amenities, non-hierarchical structure and decision-making, and the community is not a primary income source for residents. And so it's not that we don't believe that other forms of intentional community are extremely valid and viable, absolutely, but we are just wanting to be clear about who we represent as co-housing group. That is something in Canada for sure, that our financial institutions and generating resources for making co-housing happen, it's really essential that there's clarity in what co-housing is. So we are very careful about making sure that the groups that join are within that definition. And so this is Cranberry Commons where I live. Actually, that's me in red there sitting on the step over on the far left side there with my partner. The membership benefits are that mainly by sharing the website, member communities are identified with a successful, well-established community development model. And so the site is a rich informational resource providing an attractive platform for members' outreach and promotion. And people can include a paragraph and image on the website. They can include, with membership comes the opportunity to advertise in the classified ads, news and events section. And we also have a volunteer who responds to general inquiries and provides interested people with information about co-housing the communities in their local area. So if you send an email to the Canadian Co-housing Network, you will get a live person will respond. And right now there are 49 member communities, and this just gives an example of the type of information that's posted. And then you click on that, and it goes to the members' websites. There are 16 are forming, 7 in development, 5 are under construction, and 21 are completed. So, you know, that's a big change in 20 years when there was 1. So, yeah, if you're interested, contact us. You know, we've got a way of connecting with us on our website. And like I say, a live person will respond. So that's it for me.
Okay, so Neil, Foundation Intentional Communities, and then Kayla.
Hello, everyone. I unmuted. Yes. Yeah, it's wonderful to be here and to be in the presence of communitarians deep at heart. And we're all have a rather extensive intersection of values and goals and appreciation, support, mutual aid. Swan's Market Co-housing, I got my keys to my little 870 square foot home here in the early 2000s after spending, I think, close to 5 years being part of the early team to find a location and do all the things that, for those of you who have done all the things, know about them. I spent a good 20 years of my life investing, loving my time with Coho US, doing all sorts of things. And then 3 years ago, next week, I joined the leadership team at the Foundation for Intentional Community. My heart is still very much in with my co-housing families. And so the Foundation for Intentional Community lives at ic.org. And as you can see, we want you all to know that we have an extraordinary large directory. This is what currently shows up on our homepage. And there's some wonderful tools here. I'm just going to click around the website for a little bit, but just really to give you a sense of what's here and kind of why FIC. It's an organization that I think is close to 30 little plus year old, not so different in when the co-housing was born, Co-housing Association was born under a different name, but we're really a home to a very extensive directory. I think we're at 1,300 communities right now, split up into all sorts of shapes and sizes, and just giving anyone who is seeking a chance to be narrowing down their search about, what might be available in different categories of ways in which we actually ask communities to identify themselves. And so this advanced search gives you some pretty wonderful functionality as a seeker, as a joiner, as a researcher to kind of find your way yeah, just begin the adventure of identifying who might be in your neighborhood, what communities might be open. We are friends with a lot of people. A lot of us are, but we kind of boast that again on the website, as most folks do. As the rest of our organizations, we've participated and been patient with reporters from all sorts of other organizations who write about us, most of the time pretty accurately. Our team is spread around the globe is a bit of an exaggeration, but in Europe and Latin America and the US, got all sorts of people doing all sorts of things. I think there's 10 of us now in the shared leadership circle, and I think we've got a good solid 8 board members as well, some of whom have been with us for over 30 years, supporting the staff and doing the work that we're all doing. The site attracts, I'm going to say around 57 on average the last 3 months, 1,000 new visitors, 57,000 new visitors. This is, we've been on the web for a long time, so a lot of it is organic searches, kind of land folks here. The classified ads is a massively popular place where people are finding each other. There's a whole collection of resources. We have been kind of a source for a curated collection of books. As probably most of you know, or some of you know, we launched a podcast series last year. We've accumulated hundreds of videos and blog articles, which also are accessible here. Again, we've probably spent the last 3 years attracting thousands of people with a whole collection of on-demand courses, live courses. There's just been a very rich collection of things, mostly that have come from not only our institutional knowledge as communitarians, but also really as a result of doing some fairly extensive market research about who needs what and when. What else do I want to share about? We did build a forum, not unlike the co-housing listserv a few years ago. That's, I think, got about close to 800 people in it now. Like the rest of our organizations, we've got a pretty rich membership program. FIC for years has kept really quiet about providing fiscal sponsorship to like-minded organizations. So I think we've got 7 organizations that are now joined in that family. And what else? We're all coming up to Giving Tuesday on November 29th. Please support all nonprofits, including ours, the Canadian Co-housing Network, the Intentional Communities Movement, Co-housing Association of the US, just everybody who you're part of in your community life. We could certainly use support in keeping on doing the work that we're doing. Yeah, I think that hits on some of the essentials that I wanted to share here today. Happy to answer any questions, and yeah, please stay connected with us. We need you. I will boldly say that you probably need us wherever you are on your community journey. And by us, I mean the organizations that are here in this room with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. And on to Ayala.
All right, thank you. So everyone that's gone. First, I'm also going to do screen sharing directly from the web. And yeah, really honored to be here together. I'm going to share a little bit about Jen, the Global EcoVillage Network, which was originally founded in 1995. I got involved with Jen in 2005 myself, seeking to studying how to develop an eco-village, how to create community based on a lot of my experiences in activism and other spaces with wanting to have more shared governance, more autonomy and all of that. And so that was kind of how my journey started. But the EcoVillage Network itself, since 1995, here at ecovillage.org, I want to share a little bit about the bigger picture, and I'll weave into the particular interest around the community weaving that is specific to this session. But similar to what you saw on the FIC site, there is a map of the eco-villages here. You can search in that space to see the project. There are thousands of projects around the world in GEN. And the Global Eco-Village Network is set up in the organizational structure itself includes, I mean, this is a little bit complex to look at, so maybe I'll just actually go from like the regions page. But basically, well, I'll stay there for a moment. So there is a network structure that has representation from the regions in a network steward circle. So basically the sort of more general assembly of all of the communities are also in the distinct regions. And the regional structure of GEN is represented here. And you can actually, if you're, depending on where you are in the world or just where your interest is, you can visit the regions this way. NextGen was formed as a region itself distinctly to create more support for youth and the youth movement. And each of the regions also have a youth network. So when we go, so there's North America and the context of an Oceania, Asia, Europe, and each of them have their own networks, but they function independently. And then there are also, in many cases, national networks as well. So it's sort of it's a bit of a complex network of networks. But in North America, this is a photo of one of our gatherings at Arcosanti, which thankfully now that we're going to be able to have gatherings again, it's kind of exciting to imagine to do that again. Regen Alliance, which was a quote was used in the Community Weaver statement, came from the efforts that we started here in GEN North America, which is continuing to thrive. And I actually feel excited about the fact that the Community Weavers movement is a bit of a further expression of that, a furthering of the initiative that we started then. So some of the other projects that are happening within GEN that are exciting are movements around eco-village resilience and anticipatory approaches around climate change and just how can communities learn from each other globally with that. So that's another key function that we have going there. And the main thing that I would also say is if you're one of the easiest ways to be involved or to kind of tune in with what's next is to join the newsletter. And I apparently can't paste it in the chat, but I'll do that later. Yeah, and I want to give it the time for us to all have some breakouts and talk to one another. So I think that's a good moment for me to just kind of pass it back to the whole group here. And thank you.
All right, which brings it up to Sociocracy for All. And I will also share screen. So Sociocracy for All. We are a member-run nonprofit. That means we are practicing what we preach. We are sociocratic ourselves. Started in about 2016. I'd already been living in co-housing community for many years. Ted showed up on the day we adopted Sociocracy in our community, Ted Rao, and from there it took us just about a year before we were starting to found and get Sociocracy for All started. So Sociocracy for All is not just around intentional communities. We also reach out to and connect to worker cooperatives, nonprofits, high-tech consultancies, all sorts of different kinds of groups who in some way want to have this really participatory, egalitarian kind of framework. And one Sociocracy for All has got like 50 different circles. So one of the circles is the intentional community circle, on which I sit, Neil sits, Keala sits on that. Marilyn, who you may have seen in another session, Kakudo and Dem Schenk, these are all folks who are living in some intentional communities, all of us. And our aim is supporting the spread of sociocracy in communities. So what do? We do workshops and presentations and conferences and platforms. So we have this is our own conference, but we've been presenting at or doing workshops with Coho US conferences and FIC conferences and through their platforms. Sociocracy for All has a huge website full of resources, lots of videos, lots of articles, lots of things to download, including, for example, a set of governance agreements for co-housing community. We do a lot. We do online and on-site services, training, facilitation, implementation, consulting. So any community that wants to learn sociocracy can bring us in to help with that. We have a monthly community of practice group. It's actually in another session right now as we speak. They're sort of demonstrating what that's like. That's just a gathering of people from our kind of connected organizations and just say, here's my problem this month. And, we get to hear from everybody else, all the possible kinds of solutions and suggestions. The Intentional Community Circle, which is open to membership. Anyone who wants to consider joining, you're welcome to talk with us. We are basically strategizing, networking, and supporting each other, and supporting the aim. We do because of our Sociocracy for All connection, we've got a sort of a big picture. So it connects to sociocracy worldwide and beyond this sector, but all the other ally kinds of frameworks and thoughts like Theory U, Commoning, Solidarity Economy, and all those related things, pro-social. So that's one of the things that I love, that this is, like communities, we're just one community, but we're part of a worldwide process of change that we're hoping to be part of, connected to. We have a ton of different kinds of training. I won't go into this, but it's on our website. You may have already seen it. And we have our books, which are carried in the FIC bookstore. So go there and get them. And the last thing I want to say is sort of like, what's the why of all of this? So for us, egalitarian and effective, that's kind of our motto. It's like, not just egalitarian and not just effective, both. Really trying to ensure that all voices matter. Community is the key to connection. Connection is the key to community. The planet matters. We are finally more on a larger scale, recognizing that we are all one. Sad that it's taken crisis to tell us that, but we are starting to notice. And this is actually a quote from a former presidential candidate from years ago, but I really like it. Extreme inequality is a weapon of mass destruction. This is what we want to counter with the kind of sharing economies that co-housing and intentional communities represent. Equity matters. So let's cut out that extreme inequality. And that is it for me. So we're back here together. We do have quite a lot of people. Yes, we have a lot of people here. So let us go to breakout groups. And actually, I was thinking, John, if you want to leave me in the main room, anybody who wants to talk about Sociocracy for All can stay in the main room, and we just send everybody else to the other breakouts. And then if you finish, if you're kind of done, you want to just come back to the main room, then we can just hang out here. Let's give ourselves at least 5 or, let's see, some minutes before the end of our session that we all come back and say anything that we want to say coming out of our breakout groups. So you can come back anytime from breakout groups, but we'll leave at least a few minutes before the end to share any insights or reflections or things that we want to say to everybody. Anything else to be said before we go to breakouts? And John, how are you doing wherever you are? There you are.
In process.
Sure.
Give me just another moment.
Okay, so we've got a moment.
Jerry?
Let's see if we've got comments or things to be said. Yes, somebody's speaking.
Yes, I'm just wondering if we might choose which breakout room we go into. I understand they're going to be broken out among the presenters this afternoon.
Yes, I believe what John is doing is setting up breakout rooms that you can choose which one you want to go to. So they'll be identified by the
Oh.
name. You're
Awesome.
not being forced to go anywhere, and it's not group one. It'll be the name of the group, I believe, if that's what John is trying to make happen.
Yep, working on it.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
So John will let us know when he's ready. Meanwhile, any comments or questions? Lot, you had your hand up?
No, I was I had the same question.
Same
Thank you.
question. How are we going to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can
All right, they
announce
should
what
be
we-
available.
they are available. So that means you can click on, if you go to the bottom of your screen where it says breakout rooms, then the window will open and it's got the different names: Co-housing US, CCN that's the Canadian Co-housing Network, FIC, Foundations of Intentional Communities, GEN, Global Eco-Village Network. So go to one of those, click on join, and you'll move over there. So again, reach down to the bottom of your screen where it says breakout rooms, click on that. And then you can start seeing, I'm seeing the people go. Off you go, off you go.
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing where the link is to a breakout room.
Okay. Are you seeing the screen with all of us still here?
Yes,
And I don't know if you're working on a regular computer.
yeah, I'm on a regular computer, yeah, a regular laptop, yeah.
Yeah, so then move your cursor down to usually it's the very bottom of your screen. And you should see a little line of things that say participant, chat, share screen, show captions, breakout rooms. And you
Let me
point
see,
your-
let me check the more and see if it's in the more one.
It could be in the more, yes. If you've got
Okay, there it says join breakout room.
yes, click on that.
All right, thank you.
And then you'll see your choices.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who wants to leave me? All right.
I'm on a little teeny iPad, and I can't find a bottom or a top that has breakout room choices.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm not familiar with
Could
iPads.
somebody just move me to the FIC one, for instance?
Let's see, is that?
This is Tamara and Laurel. Okay.
Let me see if there's anything. I don't know that there's something I can do about. Well, let me see. Yeah, I'm not seeing how I can do that. Anybody here know iPads and know, I'm sure there's a place to either click or shift left, right, top, down.
Ooh, I think I see one hidden here. Oh, there
More
it goes.
button.
Okay.
Dots.
I got it.
All right, good. And everybody else is here, wants to be here as far as you know? All right, I only see a couple of people live here. Everybody else has got screens off, so I don't know what screens off means, that you're just hanging out. But yeah, show your screen if you want to be talking. And let me go to Christopher. Hi, say hi, and what would you like to know or ask or say?
I think it's more of just a networking opportunity and an introduction. I have so many questions and so much to discover, learn about, do. And so I'm a neurodivergent yogi on the West Coast. And that's been a major sort of issue for me in my life. And I'm just sort of really coming to terms with that in a very sort of comprehensive manner. Recently in the past 2 years, and it's largely through my studies of neuropsychology on top of my yoga practice. And so I'm all about collaborative intelligence. And I've studied neuropsychology as an amateur enough, and I practiced with my own mind. I've come to some very worthwhile sort of sharings, and I'd like to learn how to sort of share that in a sociocratic way over time, and so I have a 20-year vision, and I'm just sort of really interested in reaching out and into the world and finding whatever traction and support I can find, and then being the same for whoever else sort of can find a benefit from what I have to offer. And so I'm really here with an open heart, an open mind, and just trying to just sort of both find my way in a deeper sense of livelihood and organization and community and story even, yeah. Culture, mythos, yeah, and that's sort of what I've developed for myself in my practice and whatnot, based upon spiral, yeah, just on both natural and sort of organizational. And so, yeah, so thank you so much. I'm really open to just meeting people and sort of connecting. I'm on Facebook and WhatsApp, and I'm not very good at this sort of thing though at the same time. I just, because of my certain, yeah, just certain differences in the way that I approach things and people and the world. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm, yeah, quite touched. Thank you.
Glad to have you here, Christopher. And I do want to, acknowledge that we have barely kind of started thinking about how do we support the participation fully of anyone who is neurodivergent in whatever ways they are. And I'd be, happy to learn from you, any, insights that you've gotten about that, what makes it work for you, what makes it work for other people that you have known. And, invite you to, you can book me, do a call with me, and we can have a one-on-one conversation about that. And if you've got any, you've got any one-liners that you want to share with this group now, happy to hear, something, but brief, because I want to hear what the other folks might want to be saying.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'll just sparsely sort of interact as I think it'll actually be beneficial. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'll be in touch. Yeah.
Okay, Christopher. Roderick. Hi. Yes, and you find that unmute button. Let's see, can I help? No, I can't. Huh?
Got it. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, yes, the community practice events, I very attracted to that idea. I just wanted to know whether it would be a good place to audit and find out more about how it works, or whether it's more for people who understand, have a deeper understanding of sociocracy to participate in their own stuff.
Well, since it is a community of practice about the practice of sociocracy in communities, it does help to have some basic knowledge. So then you are kind of like, oh, how do we pick this one apart? But it is open to auditors. If you want to come and sort of witness it, you'd be welcome to do that. And then you can decide whether, that might help you decide whether you want to pursue this direction more or not. And yeah, maybe, I guess the first thing I'd say, just send an email to me so that we can sort of get you invited to the next meetings. They happen on a monthly basis. So Jerry with a J at sociocracyforall.org. Great.
Yeah, I'm committed to doing this. So sociocracy as a part. So that's great. That settles it. Thank you.
Very good. And I have to put my last Sibyl. Do you want to say anything? I know you didn't put your hand up, but you're here and you're live. No, you're on mute, so we can't hear what you're saying.
Thank you. So I was late from the beginning on to this conference, and so I would be interested to know just the basics of sociocracy. And so I don't know anything about it. And so everything you are telling or anybody else is telling is new to me and is very precious to me. So I'm thankful for anything that's going on here.
Good. All right, well, welcome. And probably the easiest thing, and I'd suggest for you, is to go to the website, sociocracyforall.org. and I forget what it's called, beginners or something. There are two very simple things. There's like a little, probably 70-page booklet, but it's just like a booklet of photographs, and it's your very simple introduction. And there's also a 20-minute animated video, which will like give you the overview, really kind of easy to take in the information.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you.
And what's Sociocracy? Basically, it's a framework of self-governance. How do we run our own organizations without bosses, without majority rule, participatory ways? So do organizational structure with teams that are connected to each other, decisions by consent, and some framework of feedback so that we keep learning and growing. So those are if you get those three things into your head, that's the kind of the big three from the way I frame things. And there's more parts and more specifics of that, but that's the essence.
Thank you.
Hey, Nate, you're here. Anything you want to say? Or maybe you're here. I don't know if you're here. Nate is from the UK. And maybe he's just kind of playing along. Diana, you want to say hi? Anything more about? You can tell people what you do. So if anybody who might have missed your sessions or maybe somehow doesn't know who you are.
Oh, okay. Hi, Nate, in case you can hear this. I haven't seen you in 12 years, but I'm very glad to see your face here on this picture. I teach sociocracy specifically to intentional communities, and I have a background in informally researching intentional communities and writing about them. I've written 2 books about them. Creating a Life Together is my first book, and it's been translated into a lot of other languages, European languages, and also Korean, because apparently a lot of people would like to know step by step, how have successful communities done that? And that's what I have researched. I'm also a communities consultant. I speak at conferences, and I had the pleasure to speak at this one and do a session. The session that I did was on a simple, effective way to create proposals with a visual template that you just fill in. And so anybody that is in this session who would like to get those handouts, I believe they'll be available to anyone who has joined this whole conference, even if they weren't in that session. Is that correct, Jerry?
Yep.
Okay, great. And why I'm here in this one is just to get to know more about SOFA and to find out how I too can join the sessions, the monthly sessions, Jerry, on intentional communities, because that's what I'm interested in learning lots more about. I'm interested, like you, I think, which communities around the world are using sociocracy? And another level of my interest is, how are they using it? Is it working well for them, and in what ways? Or are they having places where they feel confused or stuck, or it's not working? And so why might that be? So I'm kind of just an ongoing researcher, watcher, listener person. So that's what I'm doing here. So thanks for asking.
You're welcome. Well, maybe there's let's see, what else could I say about Sociocracy for All and the Intentional Communities Circle? And Marilyn is here. She's one of the members of that circle. We've all come together as practitioners of sociocracy in the communities that we live in or are in formation of. We have an open but defined membership, meaning, hey, if you're interested in sociocracy and communities, you're welcome to join. We might, if you don't know much about sociocracy, we might ask that you do some learning first before joining. And then we work in the sociocratic manner to just talk about how can we bring sociocracy to more communities. So we have what we call ambassadors, like in a sense that Audrey, who you may have met before, is the ambassador for French-speaking Canada, and Thomas, who presented or is presenting sometime today, he's for English-speaking Canada. And we still have way more, we could use way more people to reach out to the whole world, of course, because we're just a small band of, I forget how many we are, 6 people maybe, who are all overwhelmed all the time because we're, like Maryland is just deep into making Adams Creek co-housing come to life. And so that's it. Being an ambassador just to that one community has been enough, given how much work Marilyn's been doing to have Adams Creek survive and thrive in these financial times that we're facing. And what else can I say? Yeah, the monthly community of practice that we host, which Diana used to be part of at the very beginning, still the same group. There's a couple of us who still are there from the early days. We meet for an hour and a half once a month, and what happens is, people like Marilyn and myself show up, and we say, we've got this issue going on. There's somebody who's not happy here, and they're starting to talk to other people who think they may not be happy, and what should we do about that? And so, whatever the problem is that any of us is facing, we put out some information about that, and then we do the round. And Marilyn will say, well, Jerry, have you thought about this? Or, oh, I've had the same problem. I have no clue what to do. Somebody else hoping to want to listen into somebody else's great ideas. And that's basically what the community of practice is, mutual support. And I think the other thing that I would say is just, we have so much stuff on the website. So just really invite people to go there and just play around, look at all the documents, look at all the, the case studies of multiple co-housing communities are in there. And I see people are now coming back.
Yeah, I encouraged my breakout room to come back. I don't know. I suppose I can probably try to broadcast to everyone. Hit the power somewhere. I guess I can just close the breakout rooms.
Give them the, I don't know if you give them the, can we do broadcasting here? Just give them the 1 minute warning.
Oh, I can, yes.
Why don't you do that so that it's not completely abrupt? You can broadcast. But did we get a group? No, they're all still seem to be there. Or did any group close down? You just left? Anyway, I see more people now than there were here before. Well, we have a few more minutes in this session.
Yeah, we got about 7 minutes until the next session needs to start. So if you want to start wrapping things up, I encourage you to do so.
All right.
Do you have time for a short question from me, Jerry?
Why don't you give us a short question?
So, we bring our big decisions to the full circle, and I facilitate those. And I'm trying to wrap my head around, what is the aim of the full circle? Is the aim of the full circle our mission to build a multi-generational co-housing community at Adams Creek, or is it something more specific? Can you help me with that?
Yeah, and I think that the full circle, or the whole community, what's the purpose of the whole community? Is to be community, to live in community. And there's a difference in how the full circle gets used between the very beginning, or the frame in which you are in, because you are making decisions in full circle, and later on after you've moved in, where full circle doesn't need to be making those kind of decisions anymore. You're in development phase, and so that's very different than what happens later. And
but isn't making decisions more part of our domain? I see building community as really our aim.
Yeah, building community is your domain, is your
our aim.
But what is the domain? What do you do? So building community, education, feedback,
right,
and as minimally as possible decisions.
Okay.
But the minimally as possible decisions really is dependent upon what stage of development you are in. If you're in the development phase, there's still, there's a lot more to be said about how we do sociocracy and the plenary of the full circle in the development phase compared to afterwards.
Thanks, Jerry.
All right. And maybe I don't know if people are gathering for the next session, but is there, let's see, Neil, anything you want to say from FIC's meeting time? Or are you all? It looks like the breakout rooms are still going.
There's been an odd delay here with my sound apparently, so I'm trying to adjust. No, it's lovely to have people in the room and to be able to answer specific questions. And as my coach says, more to come.
All right. And Renee, anything Canadian Co-housing Network that you want to share back from your time?
Oh, just it was lovely to connect with the members of different communities and respond to questions, and felt nice to be part of the public realm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for inviting me to the conference.
Great pleasure. I don't see Kayla from Global Eco Village Network, so maybe he's still in that breakout room. And then, or Trish from Co-housing US. So there they go. So we're just a couple of minutes away from the next session. Maybe some people are already here for the next session.
Jerry, with the new platform, I don't think that's the way it works. I don't think this room will be used for another session.
Right, we just leave.
We just leave and then go to the next session. It'll be in a separate room. So I think this is a good time to do that. So
you can leave.
Thank you very much for coming to
the next session. And if anybody did want to stay, they can stay here for another minute or two to talk to me because I see some people like Dave and Monica they're here, they're smiling, but I don't know what, I don't know what you did here. So, but if you want something, I'm here. So go ahead and go to your lower right-hand corner and leave and go somewhere else.
And I just say thank you to all the presenters. It was very informative. Thank you.
Good.
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
Yeah. This is part of the old home week when we get to see people we've known for years but haven't seen them. And Trish, are you good? Is there anything that you want to say? We're kind of just, everybody's leaving to go to their next sessions and so on.
Sure.
You want to say?
No, we had a great discussion, and I think I kept everyone a little too long. Sorry.
All right. And Kayla, anything you want to say from, what did you just leave? Where did you just pop to?
Hey, I'm here. Yeah, that was fun. Lively discussion, some around how to integrate sociocracy and implement sociocracy more, and also connections across networks. So yeah, good conversations.
All right. Well,
I just
then.
realized if I leave, I end it for everybody because I started the session. So I'll just.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Well, if you actually hit leave, it'll give you a chance to make someone else the host.
Yeah, well,
I think
it's just about over now anyway.
Yeah. Let's all just leave, go back to your place where you figure out what you want to do next. What exciting session do you want to follow up on?
Okay, so I'll end it for everyone then.
All right. Ciao.
Thanks, Renee.
Thank you.